This part of the lifestyle section is all about breathing. What does breathing have to do with our pelvic floor? Well, you saw it in the anatomy section. I started to talk about the importance of the muscles of the core. Katarina Gutsa, osteopath, went over in detail the importance of proper functioning diaphragms, and especially our breathing diaphragm. If that's restricted, there's issues that trickle from that. So we're actually looking for a root cause for our problems, and not just a quick fix kind of thing. And when you start peeling off the different layers of possibilities of issues, one of the biggest layers is how we breathe. How do you breathe on a regular basis? When you're at rest, do you still breathe as if you are stressed out? You might not notice it. You might not feel stressed, but you might be taking on a pattern that, you're still in a very shallow breath. You're not in a resting breath. When you exercise, do you do things that create issues with your breathing pattern? We're going to go over that in this video. Let's go over our anatomy a little bit to get back into the mind frame of what is working, and then we'll talk about the different breathing patterns. Let's review what I mean about the core. This is a small image, but let's orient ourselves. Up here is the head. Down there is your legs. Back here is your buttocks. You can see the spine, your sacrum, and in the front you can see the pubic symphysis. Now, let's look at the muscles that comprise the core. You've got on the top here the diaphragm. On the bottom you've got the pelvic floor. In the back is your multifidus along the sides of your spine. And then you've got in front the transverse abdominis, which is that big girdle that wraps around your belly and back. Since I'm talking about breathing, I'm going to emphasize the relationship between the diaphragm and the pelvic floor, which is a diaphragm. Here's a video of an ultrasound of somebody while they're breathing. Now I want you to take a look at a couple of things. Here is the bladder. It's nice and full. It's the dark part here. Then the top part here, that's basically the diaphragm. And then the white part down below is the pelvic floor. The woman that was having the ultrasound done by pelvic floor practitioner Julie Weber presented with significant pelvic pain. Now, Julie noticed that her client didn't breathe really well. She breathed in a very shallow, predominantly chest style. And the ultrasound she does the regular breathing as she does it and notices there's not much movement in the pelvic floor. But after 10 minutes of coaching her to get to a diaphragmatic breath, which involves the movement of the belly and not so much of the chest, all of a sudden her pelvic floor started to move a whole lot more. And guess what? Her pain faded by 50% just by changing a breathing pattern. That is impressive. Diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing, or what I refer to as 360-degree breathing, can not only reduce pelvic pain, but it can also help you with your bladder control. It helps with urge suppression. The relaxation that comes with it helps you control the anxiety and the fear of urinary leakage. So here's the technique. When you inhale or breathe in, your lower chest, rib cage, and abdomen are going to widen all the way around in all directions, 360 degrees. That means your belly, your waist, and your back are going to expand, and your ribs are going to open up just like an umbrella would. Another example is, once you've done the belly part, then you start to feel like if you're wearing a bra, the chest strap is starting to feel tighter when you inhale, and everything loosens up when you exhale. This technique can be done in any position. Like you saw, you could do lying down. It's probably the easiest way to start. Then you can sit or stand. Doesn't matter what position. What I want you to do is focus on a relaxed breath, that you allow the belly to move, you allow the lower ribs to open up. And as you're breathing, I want you to try and just imagine smelling roses. You know the expression, stop and smell the roses? Well, do that. Make the breath that calm, that relaxed. All that said, belly breathing will not likely be your breath technique of choice during effort. When you see here for the plank, I have to hold my body solid. And the way to do that, I need to brace my core, which is your transverse abdominis, your pelvic floor, your diaphragm, and your multifidus. Those need to create a canister-like setting in the midsection of my body. Now that means there's no space for the belly to move. That means you are going to use the umbrella version of the breath, the 360-degree breath into the lower part of the ribs and chest. There are a variety of breathing patterns that are out there, but these two will really help you. Now, whether you have pelvic pain or incontinence or neither, which I doubt because you're watching this video, I'm going to highly encourage you to try and find those restful moments and do the belly or 360-degree breath. It just brings a lot of peace to your body. We need that on a regular basis. Now, when you are exercising, please, focus on the opening of the ribs and try not to breathe so high in the chest. It'll make all the difference in the world. And of course, never hold your breath during effort. I'm going to end with a few more little tidbits of information that have to do with breathing. There's things that could restrict your breathing, like a tight sports bra or an uncomfortable bra. Might be time to change what you're wearing so that you have a little more freedom of movement. Tight pants, especially those that cinch at the waist with a really tight belt that really don't give you the space to move your belly in and out. A really bad habit is pulling in our belly all the time to try and keep that belly flat, or like we used to teach a long time ago, pull in your belly before you engage any kind of exercise. Stop doing that. You noticed in the ultrasound that the freedom of movement of the belly created a freedom of movement of the pelvic floor. Stop pulling in your belly. Another really fun, little goofy tip or strategy is, on a regular basis, hum. There's research showing that your pelvic floor really appreciates when you're exhaling, that you hum. And when you hum, ah, at a high pitch, it stimulates the pelvic floor. When you hum at a low pitch, it relaxes the pelvic floor. So play with it, hum, have fun, belt out a really fun song once in a while. Your pelvic floor is going to really appreciate it.